All right, today we're diving into something really cool. It's a look at an educational journey at Robot School Namibia that takes kids from playing with colorful blocks all the way to designing with artificial intelligence. So let's break down how it all works.
The whole idea behind this school really picks off with this powerful question. It's not just about teaching kids to build robots. It's about asking, what if? What if playtime could actually be preparing a kid for their future? And what if that natural curiosity they all have could be turned into real, unshakable confidence?
Okay, so where does a journey like this even start? Well, it all begins with the youngest kids, and it's all about turning simple play into something with a much bigger purpose.
And when I say it starts early, I mean really early. We're talking 4-year-olds here. They're using these colorful blocks and picture codes, and to you and me, it might just look like playing. But what's really happening is they're building motor skills, spatial awareness, and because they work in pairs, they're learning that 2 heads are better than 1. And by the time they're 8, boom, they've moved on to complex logic and sensors.
This is where it gets really hands-on. A project that sounds like pure fun, like building a racing robot, it's actually a secret physics lesson. Suddenly, these kids aren't just playing, they're wrestling with real-world ideas like balance, traction, and speed, all because they're trying to make their little creation go faster.
And you can really see the impact in what the parents are saying. This one quote just nails it. The robot stops being a toy and becomes a system. The kid goes from just playing to actually explaining. They get the how and the why behind it all. All right, so once they've got the basics down, things take a huge leap forward. This is where they stop being students who just follow instructions and start becoming engineers who solve actual problems.
And this is maybe one of the most important lessons they learn. It's all about building that engineering mindset. The idea that failure isn't the end. It's just data. Your code doesn't work, you debug it. Your robot falls over, you redesign it. That teaches persistence. It teaches innovation. And let's be real, that's not just a robotics lesson, that's a life lesson right there.
Then comes this incredible moment, a real turning point. The instruction manuals? Gone. The blueprints? They just disappear. Suddenly, it's all on them. They have to design something from scratch with nothing but their own knowledge and imagination.
Now, to pull that off, you need some serious tools. And the jump they make here is just huge. They go from these friendly, colorful drag-and-drop blocks to writing actual C++. I mean, that's the language that professional software engineers use. It is a whole different ballgame, demanding way more logic and abstract thinking.
So what does that leap do for a kid? Well, this parent really hits the nail on the head. It's all about independence. They're not just following a recipe anymore. They're writing their own recipes. And that kind of creative confidence, that's gold. Okay, so where does all this lead? The final stage is all about the horizon. It's where these students stop just learning about tomorrow and actually start creating it. And the curriculum just explodes at this point. We're talking way beyond basic robots. They're diving into things like advanced manufacturing, the Internet of Things, maybe creating a sensor that could tell a farmer, hey, your crops need water. They're building their own video games. And yeah, they're even tackling AI. And this isn't just theory, right? They get to use the real-deal modern creators toolkit. They're designing stuff in CAD software, then literally bringing it into the real world with 3D printers and laser cutters. And what's really fascinating is how they use tools like ChatGPT not to cheat, but as a creative partner, a brainstorming buddy.
But here's something absolutely crucial. With all these powerful tools, you need perspective. The school makes a point to not just teach the how, but to really dig into the why. They're having conversations about ethics, about the impact their inventions could have on real people, and the responsibilities that come with creating new things.
So, when you step back and look at the whole picture, what's it all really about? What's the true meaning of this whole journey? And this right here just says it all. The point isn't just to crank out a bunch of coders and engineers. It's bigger than that. It's about creating thinkers, problem solvers, kids who can look at the world, ask smart questions, and connect the dots in new ways. It's about the mindset, not just the skill set.
And that mission, it has a huge ripple effect. This last quote from a parent really brings it home. It's not just about what one kid learned. It's about giving that kid the belief that they can actually solve real problems, that they can be a part of building their country's future.
So in the end, what is this journey? It's a simple, beautiful transformation. It's about taking a child's boundless imagination and giving them the tools and the mindset to turn it into an actual invention.
And that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. This model in Namibia is incredible, for sure. But it also makes you think, doesn't it? What if every kid, no matter where they are, had the power not just to learn about the future, but to invent their own?